basis of Yang 24 is feet work, just the way the 10 form we had to learn clearly T-step, L stance, bow stance, okay? But there's yet another big element. That element is how do you move the energy that you all have internally? How do you move that energy? That's the goal in which Tai Chi is built on, to move the energy, okay? So to explain and to make that apparent, we have to clearly understand what is Tai Chi Walk, okay? So Tai Chi Walk mainly is the foundations in which all of Tai Chi is built. But you only saw a summarized, shortened version in the 10 form. In the 24 and in various other movement sets such as Yang 16 and others, there is a Tai Chi Walk. The Tai Chi Walk is built on the footwork or feet work that we learned very well in the 10 form. There are transitions and similarities that I will try to draw them so that you will see the connections. So this is a pivot. My hips are faced towards that pivoted foot. I shift my weight, move the energy up and across and down to a bow stance. I sit back, sit down. I pivot out with both hips towards the advancing foot. I shift my weight. I come out on an L. I move the energy from the flat of my foot, ankle, knee, thighs, hips, waist, chest, and down. Bow stance. So what I want to do is try to make sure that all of you understand where we are coming from by practicing always after our warm-up the Tai Chi Walk, which we'll do right now, okay? We'll do it in two ways. We'll do it coming forward so that you will always see what I'm doing, and then we'll do it crossways the way that the 24 is done. I mentioned that the hardest element is the shifting of the energy. So when you come out on an L stance and you know that this back foot is planted or rooted, it holds your weight. The energy is all stored there. The energy cannot just jump from this leg or this side of my body to this side. It has to grow within your system. So how does it do that? It starts from the flat of your foot, the sole of your foot, through every muscle, the ankle, the leg, lower leg, upper leg, knee, thighs, hips, waist, chest, shoulder, and then down. You can almost feel that energy growing within you. Okay? But we have to experience that to understand what I'm talking about. Contrary, this should not occur. T stance, L stance, O stance. The energy did not even come up to my knee and then it went flat down. That's incorrect. That's not Tai Chi. So this is the point that I'm driving at, okay? All right, take 2 big steps back. All right, and no crossing of the wires for safety, okay? If you approach the wires, just move back. Hands at your waist, good Tai Chi posture, go through your spine. Tai Chi walk. Pivot out, walk in that direction with 2 hips facing the outward foot. Shift your weight to that right. Lift up the left, heel down. Move that energy up, across, and then down. You may adjust that back foot to a 45 degree. Sit back, sit down. To alleviate the front foot, which is an insubstantial, pivot out, walk in that direction, heel out, move the energy, bow stance. Knee not beyond your toe. Sit back, sit down. Pivot out, hips in that direction. Shift your weight, heel on an L stance. Move the energy nicely up and across, then down. Adjust the back foot. Sit back, sit down. Pivot out. Walk in that direction, shift your weight, heel. Open the knees and down. What do I mean by open the knees? Sit back, sit down. Pivot out. Walk in that direction, shift your weight, heel. Grow, open the knee like bowing the legs and then down. Bowing the knee, sit back, sit down. Pivot out, shift weight, heel, open the knee, round it out, down. Sit back, sit down. Pivot out, walk in that direction, shift weight, heel, over the hill, down. Sit back, sit down. Pivot out, walk in that direction, heel, bow the legs over the head, over the hill and down. Last one, sit back, sit down. Pivot out, walk in that direction, heel, open the knees and down. Actually, not the last one. I'm going to watch. Sit back. Last one. Okay, turn around and walk back on a Tai Chi walk. Here we go. Good Tai Chi posture. Right foot, pivot out. Okay, do your own, at your own pace. You do what you think is Tai Chi walk without me helping. When you get to your spot, you can turn around and wait. Okay, everybody should be on there near their last one. Turn around and show me that you're done. So I'm going to start to talk, okay, because I see things that I think need to be cleaned up. So remember when you first got into Tai Chi and did level 1, we drilled and drilled what a T stance is, what an L stance is, and every time we said, okay, it's not here, but it's here, but it's not here, yeah? You remember that, and you had to kind of adjust. In this situation, when you always start with a pivot, some people didn't know what to do, they just clumped down there. Remember, you're 50-50, you have to shift your weight, then you have to come out. This is that L stance. The L stance, remember, T stance, L stance, bow stance, right? So the L stance, we put out our heel parallel to the line or on the line. It could never be this way. Therefore, when you do Tai Chi Walk, it remains the same. But I'm going to be a stickler. I can tell almost who is not following it just the way I want it, okay? So it could be you. It is you, so watch carefully. Out, heel, L stance. Move the energy, open the knee, then down, bow stance. 45-degree, adjust that back foot. Watch carefully. It is parallel to the line or on the line. It's not this way. This way is going to hurt your knee, okay? Make sure you understand what I'm saying. Otherwise, come and talk to me. Sit back, sit down. Pivot out, because this is the advancing foot. This is the L stance. It has to be on the line or parallel to the line to make that energy come up and across and then down. It cannot shoot out. Okay? Everybody understand that? Because that's where the problem lies. This is the advancing foot. It is not the L stance. It can take an angle. However, this foot is my L stance. The energy has to shift and it has to be on the line or parallel. Any questions now? Do you understand what I'm saying? All right, perhaps when you watch the lesson, you will pick up a little bit more, okay? But I want to see a big improvement next time I see you. All right. Remember now, there's timing so that you don't want to just plop this down and then turn. It's just like our T stance, L stance. You don't just plop this down and then turn. Do not shift your weight on a heel. Wait until the energy is generated and then come down. So on a Tai Chi walk, L stance, the energy stored here, I'm rooted down. You cannot plop this foot down early, neither can you have it flared out. It has to be parallel to the line and near weightless. The energy then is generated through your system all the way through here. Turn the hips and waist and then down. Then you're about 50-50, if not 60-40, okay? Well, just don't worry about that part, okay? Sit back, sit down, pivot out, shift the weight so that I can do an L stance, turn by moving that energy, turn the hips and waist, both stands. All right, advancing forward, and then 2 good ones going back. Show me that you knew what my instructions were a little clearer. Hands at your waist, 50-50, pivot out, shift your weight, L stance, on a line or parallel, move the energy, turn the hips and waist, both stance. That's 1. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, shift your weight, L stance, on a line or parallel, move the energy, set it down, both stance. Turn around and show me what I mean. Turn around right now and go back to your position in 2 Tai Chi walks, okay? Here we go. Good Tai Chi posture, 50-50. Pivot out, shift your weight, lift up that left, paralleler, turn the hips and waist, both stance. Sit back, sit down. Pivot out, shift your weight. L, turn the hips and waist, O. Sit back, sit down. Pivot out, shift your weight. L, O. One last one. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, shift weight. L, O. Okay, good. Turn around. So I saw now that almost all of you had that L stance where the toe area was not flared out. It was either on the line or parallel. I noticed several things. Okay, so this may apply to you, but don't take that big, I'm exaggerating. Do not cause more difficulty. Do not take that big L stance. Okay? All it is out and to the side like this, but not out and to the side where you can't identify the weighted or rooted back foot because you're stretched out too much. So caution yourself to say, yes, I know that L stance is out and to the side, but I need it only maybe a block and a half and then to turn. I do not need it 2 squares to get to that, okay? So adjust that a little bit. Another big area which you can help yourself for balancing And for doing good Tai Chi is to sit back. Show me with one foot advanced, and then show me how you sit back. You can do it this way if it's easier. Show me how you sit back. And then show me how you sit back. I just keep on doing it so I can see how you understand what it means to sit back. On a sit back, it's sit back and sit down. But out of expediency, we just say sit back. So two movements folded into one. You have to store that energy. You have to ground yourself. You have to root yourself for better balance. And that is not easy, but nothing is easy if we want to achieve something good. We have to work on it. We have to build stamina. We have to clearly understand. I cannot say enough that you need to sit down and sit back till that back leg has weight and it kind of aches you. So that's a good way of reaching your goal. And I can't do it for you, neither can your friend or spouse. You have to feel that sensation. The better you can feel it and identify it, the better you're off, because your body weight is now able to hold that on that one foot to then allow that insubstantial foot to make that advance. Not just Tai Chi, but in everyday activities, okay? Raise of hand. How many understand what I'm talking about? Okay, good. All right, good start for a good year, good session.
Try to remember to use a little bit of spiral when you sit back. Because when you do that, you use at least two joints, knee joint, hip joint. Otherwise, sometimes what happens is you sit back and you go right forward, as opposed to sit back. You decrease the stress on your knee and your hip. Otherwise, if you sit back, you may just strain to put all the stress on the knee, and you don't practice flexibility. And the hip is very, very important. Is, the Tai Chi concept, the hip is the director of where the energy is going, whether it's coming from above, come back down, and down here. Come from up here, back out, and going in that direction. So take advantage of that. When you sit back, it's not sit back. It's a sort of an awkward sit back, and you don't use what you want to do is make sure that you keep this knee or this joint from going like that. You want to be able to turn the hip, and the knee just does this. Okay? It's sort of awkward, but if you just think of it, knee, hip, and that will help you. For instance, hey, when you're here, grasping the bird's tail, that otherwise hip back is a little bit awkward as opposed to. And you stay in this position. You can stay in this position, so once you're coming back, you stay in this position, then transfer energy back out, okay? Otherwise, if you're like this, it's a bit awkward. But that's part, I think, the sitting back is just not just a plain sitting back. It's using your hip. And all through the Tai Chi routine, think about where your hip comes into being, particularly Tai Chi Walk. Okay? One more thing I want to talk about. When we do our Tai Chi Walk, most of you are doing it okay. Here, you turn as if you're going in that direction. Commit as if to that direction. But you see what happens to my knee? My knee bends, and then I come out. Okay? Refrain from bok. It's not smooth transfer, and if you deliver it with a pok, That's all this force coming down into your leg, into your joints. Not that good for durability of the parts of your body, as opposed to here, come up as if you're walking, and then gently drop it down. And you're shifting weight at the same time.
Yes, I want to show you on a profile what it means to sit back, sit down, and not do that, okay? So the difference is pretty great if you can visualize what I'm going to show you, okay? So maybe I should do it, profile, okay? Out, turn the hips and waist, bow stance. Sit back, sit down. Pivot out, shift your weight, L stance, bow stance. Watch my back, sit back, sit down. Pivot out. You see that? It's, yeah, you know that there is somebody who told you you need to sit back, sit down. But this is a cop-out. You've got to come back and sit down. You need to store this energy. If you merely sit back this way, the energy is not stored. You're going to have a harder time advancing out and doing this. Okay? Good job. Don't worry about the 24. There's lots of time. We'll get into it. I want to lay the good foundations. Okay? Yay, see you next time.